Welcome to the Postpartum Coach podcast, where we embrace our needs as moms, we learn to lead ourselves first, then our families, and where we create our own healing from the inside out to find our way to the work we were meant to do in this world. I'm your host, a fellow mom of 3 and a certified life coach, Lizzie Langston. Hello, beautiful mamas. Welcome back. Episode number 75. Can you believe it? I feel like that's 750 episodes. I've got a good one for you today. I've got a really good simplified episode, kind of like anxiety snacking, really just simple, powerful. So hang in there. I want to tell you that today's episode really complements the freebie I sent to your email. So if you're on my email list, you got a PDF free download with 2 pages full of my favorite antidepressant thoughts, my favorite thoughts that help you know that you are enough. What we're going to be talking about today is that when you believe you are not enough, when at the end of the day, like deep down, it boils down to this belief that you're not enough and this insufficiency within yourself and this lack. Anxiety and depression are symptoms of that, and they are branches from the tree of I am not enough, okay? Anxiety and depression both are. So today's episode complements really well with the PDF download, and if you didn't get the PDF download, I'm going to send it again next week. So please get on my list soon. Get on my list. And you know what? I'll send more stuff like it in future. I just occasionally create stuff and send it to my email list because I just want to thank you guys for letting me into your life. So just go to the show notes of this episode and subscribe to my list. Also, last but not least, as an item of business, would you do me the favor if you feel lovely things and you have received help and grace and support from this podcast, whether or not you're a client of mine, but even if you are, I would love a written review with just a couple sentences about how this podcast has touched your life so that other women may find it. And that could also be like a beautiful moment for you to sit back and be like, wow, how have I changed from this free, amazing resource on the internet? So I just would love that. I would really appreciate that. And I know it helps the growth of not only my business, but also the women who haven't found it yet, who are really needing it and might be looking for it without knowing that it's here. Thank you so much. All right, let's dive in. So I have been coaching women postpartum, Christian and members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint moms. They're both Christian, but I've been coaching Jesus-loving moms for 2 years now. On postpartum stuff. And as I have been able to have that honor and witness many, many women human brains, sit across from me on Zoom or on the phone, as I've witnessed anxiety and depression up close and personal, I've made some observations over that time. And recently I made this observation, which is that anxiety and depression postpartum, I would venture to say always, but I don't study all kinds of depression. I study postpartum depression with Christian moms, okay? So if that's you, here's what I want to say. Anxiety and depression come from the belief, I am not enough. They are symptoms of this sentence in our mind and the emotion that it creates in our body, which is insufficiency, lack, insecurity, fear, failure, resentment, comparison, despair, hating, loathing ourselves, depressive, anxious, undersupply, shortage, poverty of peace and calm, poverty of passion and purpose, stale, inflexible, apathetic, grief, regret, lack, loss, okay? Taking and wanting, not having and giving. So this is the stage that I'm setting for anxiety and depression. This is where anxiety and depression happen. But none of these adjectives that I just told you even are in our realm as human beings until we have the thought, I am not enough. Now, you might be like, well, do I have this thought? I don't know. And so today, the whole purpose of this podcast is to help you. We're going to go through a bunch of examples. I'm going to help you identify where this thought is in your life. But to the extent that you feel like you're not enough is the extent that you will have depression and is the extent that you will be anxious. Now, just because this is true doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of other things that help anxiety and depression. There are. For example, breathing exercises, body scans, being surrounded by a community of people that you love. But ultimately, independent of our circumstances, our own thoughts are what create anxiousness and depressiveness postpartum, okay? And so even if your circumstances were to be just so, it's possible that you could still feel like you're not enough. For example, I was talking to somebody today who shared that somebody she really looked up to in her life told her that she should go apply for this program, that she should totally do it because she could get in. And the person that told her this was really qualified. Like, this person knows who gets in and who doesn't. And they were saying to her, you are good enough. You could totally do this. And so she practiced and she rehearsed and she got ready to do this program. And then she walked away. I say this because I want to give this example because it doesn't matter what other people tell us. What matters is our thoughts. It doesn't matter how many times your husband comes home from work and says, I don't care how messy the house is, babe, I love you just as you are. It doesn't matter how many times that same sweet husband says, don't worry about the finances. You know what? Whatever you need right now, we've got this. I can just get the support you need. It doesn't matter. It's if we believe we're not enough, we are going to show up like we're not enough. And we're going to believe that over any other influence in our mind. Now, this is obviously, I have to pause here and make the case for coaching. This is why coaching is such a godsend. It's so beautiful because despite our current programming, coaching is like renovating and redoing the interior of our brain. Don't worry, we're going to go into I'm not enough, but I want to paint this picture for you for just a minute. I want you to imagine that the King of the universe, okay, let's pretend it wasn't our universe where God the Father, it's let's just pretend there's a universe and all the people in this world were given cars and each of them got one car. So one car per person, everyone gets their own car and it's the only car you get for life. You don't get another car, you don't get any upgrades, but you can do whatever you want to the car. You can paint it, you can restore the engine, you can put in leather cushion seating, whatever you want. It just takes maybe time, maybe money, but you can do whatever you want. So you can create whatever experience of your car you want. And in this planet that I'm pretending to create here, like this universe I'm talking about, they all live in their cars 24/7. They don't actually walk on their legs. They just drive in their cars all the time. Every day, all day. Okay. I want you to imagine if you were in that car every day, all day, and you were looking at your budget and you're like, what should we spend money on? And let's say you sat down in the car and your butt would really hurt. It just was really uncomfortable seats. And when you rolled the windows down, it just would get stuck sometimes. You had to bang it with your elbow, right? If we were in these cars every day, all day, we'd probably have at the top of our list to make the car comfortable and to make sure it gets us to where we want to go. What if it was a self-driving car and sometimes you'd be like, hey, take me to my mom's house. And it would take you 2 miles east of your mom's. But sometimes it would take you to your mom's. What if this car wasn't really, really, really good at getting you where you wanted to go? For sure, we'd want to invest in it. This is the human brain. We all get one. We use it every single day, all day. I cannot think of an investment more worthwhile, more life-changing than coaching, than mental health solutions. Nothing. Getting your brain worked on is like getting your whole life worked on. Imagine just the very act of refurbishing that car and restoring the engine. Now you get places faster. Instead of getting to your mom's house 80% of the time, that car is going to take you there every time. What would it be like with you and your depression and your anxiety? If you got your brain worked on so that it could get you out of this and never in it again. I want to encourage you to consider that that's possible. And I want you to know that I've been through that path. Getting coaching with me is not just going to be like a one and done. It is the start of an entire new life, an entire new way of living. For sure, that's what makes it kind of scary. Like our lower brain is like, I don't know that I want a new life. That sounds like it's change and it's different and we like what's the same. But you are not your brain. And there's your higher brain, right? That's like, no, I'm intrigued. I want that. So let me tell you today how this thought, I am not enough, is what is keeping you in depression and in anxiety. They're two different symptoms of the same thought, I am not enough. I'll give you a bunch of examples, and I want you to ponder on coaching with me. What if it's time? And what if you just want it? Do you need another reason than that? I don't know if you do. I sure didn't. That was about enough for me. You are worth it. Okay, so here we go. Here's how I am not enough comes up. And it's kind of sneaky. It can be kind of sneaky. So think about it. I'm not experienced enough. I'm not patient enough. Another way of saying this is I have too much of a temper or I'm too angry. So basically anything in the realm of self-criticism is taking you down the road to anxiety and depression, and it's on the same road of lack and fear and scarcity. That's the same road. It comes from the thought, I am not enough. Another one that's more everyday. My house isn't clean enough. Yeah. It usually sounds more like, oh, it's so messy in here, which then turns into, how could I get this out of control? And then we're really mad at everybody else. But ultimately, we're like, yeah, I don't clean enough. I didn't clean. I am not enough. Now you might be like, no. I think I'm enough. I just don't think my kids do enough. I don't think they are enough. Okay? But when we don't believe we're enough, we project that in our parenting and we project it in our relationship with the past generation, our mom. So it's really, really, really interesting that when we believe we're not enough, when the current generation in a family, like you, when you believe you're not enough, your brain finds evidence in that of others too. So you will have issues with your mom and you will have issues with your kids and your husband in criticizing and not being able to just love and accept them. It's all the same. This is why on my consults, we talk about not just you, but your motherhood and your marriage. And sometimes I want to add another category, which is mother, like your relationship with your mother, because all of it, the way your brain does one thing, it's going to do it all. And so if you have the belief, I'm not enough about yourself, it's like our money's not enough. We don't have enough money. It's I don't have enough time. It's like all of it. This is so ground shaking. This is why my coaching is so dang valuable, because if you can get in and get this core belief stabilized and eventually through work and time and coaching flipped on its head, and to now we're like living and breathing clearly, I am enough. It is everything. It changes everything. Talk about resilience for the rest of your life. In your mental health, in your motherhood, in your marriage. It's better than insurance, people. Like, it's so amazing. And I don't just say it because I'm a coach selling coaching, although of course, but also, friends, like I was not enough for myself. And this was despite having a living testimony of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Despite being an active member in his church, I truly deep down was breeding this in my life. I'm not enough. And it got me into anxiousness and then depression. Both. I experienced both. Some people are more depressed, some people are more anxious, and some are a little bit of both. I was a little bit of both. So fascinating. Okay, let's go to another take on this. So I just talked a lot more about like the depressiveness when we're like, my house isn't clean enough, I'm not enough. It's like, oh, just heavy. But anxiety shows up a little different, still from the same thought, I'm not enough. Let me show you how it connects, okay? So anxiety's main jam, like the anxiety mojo is the what ifs. Am I right? If you've had a lot of anxiety, it's like, what if I die? What if we get COVID? What if I can't sleep tonight? What if I fail? What if I mess up? What if I say the thing that what if I can't be the mom I want to be? Right? So what we're really saying is, listen, like I want you to hear me. And I talked about this in the last couple episodes. I don't remember their numbers, but virtual realities postpartum and then anxiety snacking, episode 74, right before this one. I go a little bit more into detail with this. So go check those out to supplement here too. But really, when we're saying, what if I don't sleep tonight? What that says to our body, even though it's just a question, right? It just sounds like we're just playing with the idea. In our body, it's as if we're like, I don't sleep tonight. Okay? Which is really what we're really saying, like, what if this is like, I'm not in control. I don't have enough control. I am not enough. I don't have enough tools, enough ability to handle X circumstance, to handle not falling asleep tonight, to handle getting COVID. Okay, it's the same thing. We could just essentially switch out what if I die to I am not enough to handle dying. I am not enough. I don't believe I'm enough to get COVID. I don't believe I can and that I have enough to not sleep tonight. Enough energy, enough ability to cope. I am not enough. It's the same thought underlying it all. Now, with coaching, with me, for months, okay? Because we don't just do like, oh, one and done. It's like we really get in there. What you're looking at is a 3-step process. Number 1, awareness. So we're going to take what I just gave you here on the podcast and we're going to tailor it to just you. We're going to zoom in and we're going to look at it in all aspects of your life. And it is fascinating and a lot of emotion is released. Of course, right? If you're going to switch your whole life from fear-based to love-based and from lack to abundance, you better believe you're going to be releasing. You're going to be crying. It's like you're squeezing lemons, right, to make lemonade. And the lemonade is tasty and delicious. We're going to add some lovely sugar to it. But before we get there, we're cutting those lemons open and we're squeezing the juice out of them. You're like, great, Lizzie, I really want to do coaching. But I promise you, if you want inspiration, some inspo with working with me, read my testimonials on my website. Kaylin Nolte just left me a testimonial and it was freaking amazing. You have to go read it. I actually just read it on the last episode at the beginning of the sode. So go check that out if you want to hear me say it, which I kind of loved hearing me say it. I'm kind of a good reader. Sometimes I think I want to be like one of those reader people on Audible that reads the books. Should we have a vote? Shall we? Who wants me to? I feel like everybody says my voice is nice. I'm like, maybe I should just aspire to that. Okay. Anyway, getting back on track. So here is what you can expect to shift to. Oh, the 3-step process. Sorry, that's what we were talking about. So step 1 is releasing. Step 2 is you're seeing your life with new eyes because as you release, I am not enough. One little intimate peek into your life at a time through coaching, right? And through working in this for some time. But as you start to release, you start to see more truthfully and more clearly through the eyes of abundance. You start to actually believe that you might be enough and you start to act. This is the best part for sure. Like, yes, it feels so good to believe you're enough, but the best part is when you start to see your actions totally changing. And you can really see that in Kaylin's testimonial. She came to me essentially hating herself in her motherhood, like so ashamed, so disgusted by herself in her motherhood, which is where so many of us are. I was there. I was first it was devastated and then it was disgusted and like self-loathing, right? But we all have our own spot on the spectrum and we're all in our own place, but that's usually what it is. And so if you look in Kaylin's testimonial, it's just like, you can watch her shift. It's so powerful. Seriously, go read it. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. Kaylin, I love you. But yeah, so you start to then see everything with new eyes. And then the last phase is like you live in abundance. And here's what abundance feels like. Instead of taking and wanting, you are having and you give. Instead of anxious and depressed, you're full of purpose, passion, playfulness. You know how to calm your body with peace. Instead of holding grudges and being more angry and resentful, you're forgiving. Now, I want to make a caveat. Does this mean that you never have those moments? Of course not. I for sure still do. But I'm also continuing phase 3. I've been in phase 3 for like 18 months and I'm continuing to just go. That's my life's work. And I'm so grateful to, first of all, the Savior Jesus Christ, because he is the ultimate source of abundance. And it's my belief that coaching isn't what creates or gives abundance. Coaching just shows you what's true. Like it helps you get out of your own brain, which then gives you that much more clarity to have access to the Savior's abundance. But it is the Savior Jesus Christ who I believe is the source of all abundance. And the closer we are to him, the more abundance we have access to and that we feel. Even if you're not super religious, I still believe, like, even if we all don't know it and we don't pay heed to any of his gospel or anything, like I truly believe that his abundance, like it belongs to him. He is the author of all abundance. But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that it's not like through coaching you're going to become perfect. So don't want to throw that out there. It's just that the way you manage your humanness, because the humanness is inevitable, right? And that's just the game of life. We are going to make mistakes. We are going to feel remorse because we did something wrong. We're going to feel shame. We're going to have all the spectrum of the human life, the 50-50, the opposition in all things. But when you're depressed and anxious, how you're handling your humanness is from a place of, I'm not enough. And what you make your imperfections mean is that you're not enough. What I help my clients do is get to the opposite end of the spectrum where they still have all the same humanness, but their experience of their humanness is different. When they see their own imperfections, they greet it with love and compassion and curiosity. And from that place, they make change, but they do it always knowing that they're enough. Because of Jesus Christ, we are all enough. Are we imperfect? Yes, but he is the addition to our subtraction. So what you can expect through working with me that I help my clients get to, like I said, my 3 Ps, passion, playfulness, and purpose. So those are the 3 big ones, but those all come from I am enough, abundance. This is what we will be focusing on, and this is, I have to say, my gift as a coach. I have the eyes to see postpartum moms through the eyes of abundance. I've done the work in my own life. I still have miles to go, let's be clear. I have done the work, though, to wrap my own mind and heart in abundance and to see myself that way. It's been the most beautiful process. I love it. I want it for everyone. And I can show you the way to that for yourself. So get on the phone with me. It's LizzieLangston.com/consult. The consult will feel a lot like these podcast episodes, just so we're clear. A little bit of spicy Lizzie, whatever I've got, but it's all about you. Okay. And I want to help you get clarity on what you want. What's your vision for yourself? Where are you feeling dissatisfied? Where are you feeling the lack? And I will offer to you and show you how I would help you create abundance. Then we'll talk about prices and everything, and you just get to decide. And there's no right or wrong, and I love you and don't judge you either way, right? But that is what's on the table. It's the adventure of a lifetime. I believe that it is what brings us closer to our Savior Jesus Christ. I believe that this work, this lesson, whether you do it through the medium of coaching or through your reading of the scriptures, it's a little bit of everything. It is all this to bring us closer to him, and I would love to help you do that. So book a consult. We'll see you guys next week. Talk soon. Hey, Lizzie here. I've helped dozens of postpartum moms just like you to manage their postpartum anxiety and deconstruct their postpartum depression. It's really easy for me. So if you're ready to feel better, I know the way. Let's chat on the phone. Set up a time by going to LizzieLangston.com/consult. It's pretty simple, and I will be calling you soon.